there, my name is Melissa May Younger. I'm the author of The Land in the Woods, and this is a children's fantasy adventure novel, which I am currently writing the sequel to during Camp NaNoWriMo in July. And so I thought, I've spent all this time learning how to self-publish, learning how to do the book cover, learning how to do all of the writing, editing, formatting, all of that, what should go in the book. So I'm also a freelance writer, so I've written many books with other people. So I want to share a little bit about that journey from start to finish. So today I'm going to share with you the first step. So step one is to write your zero draft. Now you don't have to do it exactly the same way I do it. You can find what works for you. But I just wanted to share about my process because maybe it'll, give you some good ideas on what to do with yours. Perfect. Okay, so here is the next book. The sequel is The Forgotten Scroll. And so we're going to scroll through that. I like using this program, Google Docs, for a couple reasons. I use it in Chrome. One is that I like over here that you can easily navigate in between the chapters. So you'll see that these are all the chapters. I've made them heading 1 under here. So when you do that, then they all are going to show up in this left-hand column. And then you can just click between them whenever you want to go to a different chapter. The second reason I like this is because I'm a freelance writer. I write my own stuff, and for other people, sometimes my hands get very tired. They need a break, so I can just do this. Actually, I'll exit out so I'll show you how I get into it. I can go into Tools, into Voice Typing, and then we have a voice dictation thing here, and it works pretty well, actually. Period. Did exactly what I said that time. However, there's going to be names, there's going to be a lot of things that it gets wrong. I have a fantasy novel, so there's lots of words the dictation software is going to get wrong, and it will be hilarious. But you will also have to go back and correct those things. But it's a fairly good one. So anyways, those are the 2 reasons I like to use the Google Doc to write my zero draft. And so basically, when you're writing your zero draft, I'll explain what it is first. It is before your first draft. That's why it's your zero draft. Basically, you're just trying to get the content on the page, slap together something that looks kind of like where you think this story is going to go. And you can always go back and change it. You can add filler content. You can add descriptions. You can work on the grammar, but right now you're just trying to get words on a page. So it's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. I tend to try to write it a little bit grammatically correct the first time around, so it's not as hard when I'm going back into it, but you certainly don't have to do that. You could do no punctuation if you wanted to. So this is my zero draft here. So I've not gone back into this chapter yet. So I'll just show you a little bit of what it looks like. Over the next couple of days, Prince Bobby Brundle and his men took a path through the woods and along the shoreline and made their way to the sea with little trouble. Though there was no trouble, however, there certainly were games. As Bobby discovered, Brundle and his men liked to play childish games to keep each other on their toes. One of the men would suddenly be missing, and the crew would start looking around from him. Okay, so right away you can probably see that there's a couple of errors in there. That's totally fine. And there might be some more explanation, more description of the scenery, of the people that needs to go in there. But in the zero draft, you're not worrying about that. You have your characters. You're going to put in a little dialogue here and there to spice it up. You're going to put in the basic actions to get you started. You're trying to get into the creative flow. Okay, that's the goal. So one tip is to think about what helps you to get into creative mood, and that will help you to prepare to write your zero draft. So you want to stimulate your senses and figure out how to relax. So you might want to grab a cup of coffee or tea. You might want to grab your favorite snack. Make sure that your room temperature is comfortable, not too hot, not too cold, that you have good clothes on that are comfortable clothes. And then you want to be able to get into a mindset and a space where you can just kind of relax. You don't have to do anything. Maybe let people in your house know that you're writing right now, and just say, oh, just give me 20 minutes, just 20 minutes without any interruptions. And then just lock yourself in a room and go for it, okay? And then the second thing is, don't worry about the details. If you get hung up on the details, you're going to slow yourself down. You're not going to get out the content that you want to. If you want to like write your book quickly, that's the way to do it. You just have to go with it. You know, some people spend crazy amounts of time outlining. For nonfiction, that could work. For fiction, I don't think that works as well, because you might end up wanting to go different directions with your characters or your plot that you hadn't thought of when you were outlining, because outlining is using a different side of your brain. It's not the creative storytelling side you're using. When you're outlining, you're usually using your more like mathematical side. So you might not come out with the best storyline that way. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying don't outline at all. Have some kind of idea before you go ahead. And if you want me to talk more about outlines in another video, I can certainly do that. And if you're more logically left-brained, then you might become more comfortable in the next stages. This stage might drive you nuts, but I think it's a good stage to be at, because it helps you to think about possibilities that you might not ordinarily. The best stories are the most creative. The ones that are kind of like have these out there ideas. If you look at like what Marvel does, that stuff does not happen overnight, okay? Those people had their creative juices going for a long time, and then they kept going back into it and kind of reimagining together. So just make sure that you get into that creative space. That's what I would say. So they journey back. Look at that. That's all I put there. Okay. As like the end of this chapter. So let's flesh that out a little bit. They journey back, and while they're going back, they encounter a sea monster, something like that. Okay, so, and then Prince destroys it as a sign, maybe, of what he will do in a future book. Okay, so I'm just kind of letting my imagination go here. And then that obviously is not a story right there. That's not actual content. That's more of an outline of what happens. But I'll go back in and I'll flesh that part out. But as you can see, all of this, as Prince said, the children in their party had finally found the scroll. The problem, however, was that it was tied with a thick rope and hung around the dragon's neck. And then I have all these different things kind of outlined here. Okay, so that's to show you a little bit about the zero draft. And please, like, subscribe, comment, let me know if there is a specific part of writing or publishing that you're getting stuck on that you would like some advice or help on. I would be happy to make a video on that. I am happy to share about my experience and my knowledge, as well as my journey. So best of luck writing. Keep going, writers. Keep going, self-publishers. You can do it. Keep learning, and you will get there. I promise you.